If my mother wanted to punish me, she couldn't have chosen a crueler way. A political marriage, to unite the proud dominion of Serath with a species my people barely considered sentient, the humans, a fragile, primitive race from a distant world they call Earth. And now, my husband, Commander Elias Ward, standing across the ceremonial hall like some museum relic in a crisp uniform far too plain for a royal union. I've studied his kind. Thin skin, no claws, no fangs, no armor. They bruise, they bleed, they break. My people, the Varathai, are warriors born in fire, forged beneath suns that never rest. We master blade and flame before we even learn to speak. He, on the other hand, tends to a small green plant he brought aboard the embassy ship. He waters it, studies it, whispers to it. I don't know whether to laugh or pity him, but that contempt is a luxury I can't afford for long. The ship trembles. Warning sirens blare. Sharp, stuttering wails that mean only one thing: we're under attack. The floor quakes beneath my boots as explosions ripple along the hull. My personal guards, 5 of the finest Varathai legionnaires, form a circle around me, their obsidian armor glowing faintly as they power up their pulse blades. "Princess Serath," my captain says, his voice steel through the comms. "Stay behind us. We'll carve a path." I nod once, gripping the ceremonial dagger at my hip. It's mostly symbolic. A token of honor, not a true weapon, but even a dull blade can taste blood if wielded with purpose. The blast doors buckle, metal screams, smoke fills the corridor. And then the raiders come. The Korvath, merciless scavengers with tusked jaws and crude ballistic rifles. They surge in, bellowing war cries. My guards move as one, blades humming. The corridor becomes a storm of light and death. 1 pirate falls, then 2, but they keep coming. There are too many. One of my guards takes a round to the throat and collapses. Another is dragged down in a tangle of claws and snarls. I backpedal, my heart hammering, the weight of the dagger suddenly absurd in my trembling hands. And then Elias moves. He doesn't shout. He doesn't flinch. He simply steps forward, past the burning console, past the bodies, until he stands between me and the storm. "Serath," he says quietly, his voice unnervingly calm. "Stay behind me." I barely have time to react before one of the Korvath charges him, swinging a serrated blade as tall as a child. I brace myself for the sound of rending flesh. Instead, there's a crack, short, wet, final. The raider hits the floor, his arm twisted backward at an impossible angle. Elias holds the alien's weapon now, his expression utterly transformed. Gone is the quiet diplomat who smiled politely at council dinners. What stands before me is something else. His eyes burn with the cold focus of a predator that's done this before, too many times. He moves with terrifying grace, each motion fluid and deliberate. The heavy weapon in his hands becomes an extension of his body. He swings once, shattering a raider's skull. Fires twice, each shot clean, efficient. My guards fight with technique. Elias fights like a storm. Brutal, unstoppable, unhesitating. One pirate fires at him. Elias doesn't dodge. He dives forward, dragging a corpse into the path of the bullets, rolls, and rises with a sidearm he must have picked off the dead. He fires 3 times. Chest, chest, head. Every shot lands. He doesn't waste motion, doesn't waste breath. He kills like it's a language he speaks fluently. The last of my guards falls, impaled. My scream catches in my throat, but before the raider can pull free, Elias is there. He doesn't even aim. He just slams the rifle into the raider's neck. Once, twice. The body goes limp. Now only the Korvath captain remains, a giant with armor plates fused into his hide, an axe the size of a door clutched in one hand. Elias tosses the rifle aside. His voice is quiet, almost gentle. "You should have stayed in your hole." The brute roars and charges. The deck trembles with each step. Elias doesn't move until the last possible instant, then sidesteps, pivots, and drives his boot into the alien's knee. The joint snaps like glass. Before the creature can fall, Elias grips its tusk and twists. The crack echoes through the smoke. The massive body crumples. Silence. For a long moment, all I can hear is the distant hiss of cooling metal and the soft rhythm of his breathing. The diplomatic uniform he wore is ruined, torn, blood-soaked, streaked with ash, and yet he stands tall, steady, composed. He turns to me slowly. His eyes meet mine, and for a heartbeat I see it, the truth my tutors never taught me. Earth isn't weak. Humanity isn't soft. It's a world that tried to kill them every day and failed. They learned endurance where others learned fear. They mastered violence because their own planet demanded it. It isn't their weapons that make them dangerous. It's their will. He takes a breath, voice gentle again, the predator gone, replaced by the quiet man I married. Are you hurt? He asks. I can't speak. I just stare at him, my ceremonial dagger hanging loosely at my side. My people have a word, Varketh. It means unbreakable. We use it for mountains, for gods, for legends carved in the bones of stars. Now, as I look at Elias Ward, this human who just tore through 12 armored killers without hesitation, I realize what it truly means. My mother didn't chain me to a weakling, she bound me to a storm. No, not a storm. Something older, something patient, a Deathworlder. And as I stand there, surrounded by smoke and blood and silence, one thought burns through the shock and awe. If this is what a single human can do, what happens when the rest of his kind decide they've had enough? The corridors of the diplomatic cruiser are silent now, silent except for the distant hum of the engines trying to keep the ship alive. Bodies lie where they fell, smoke coiling toward the fractured ceiling. Elias stands at the viewport, his hands clasped behind his back, staring at the debris field drifting beyond. I should be the one commanding the cleanup, giving orders, demanding answers, but I can't seem to look away from him. He's calm, as if none of this, the blood, the death, the carnage, has touched him at all. When I finally find my voice, it comes out a whisper. You've killed before. He doesn't look at me. Yes. How many? He turns his head slightly. Enough to stop counting. There's no pride in his tone, no anger, just truth. For a moment, the silence stretches between us, the kind that hums like a blade just before it strikes. And then the comms crackle to life. The Serath flagship, carrying my mother, Empress Kelra, demanding an explanation. She will see the bodies. She will know. And for the first time, I wonder if humanity ever truly showed the galaxy what they are. We thought them gentle because they preferred peace. We mistook mercy for weakness. When the transmission connects, my mother's hologram fills the room, regal and furious. Serath, what is the meaning of this massacre? Were you attacked? Where are your guards? I open my mouth, but Elias speaks first. His voice is steady, respectful, yet carries that quiet, terrifying authority. They're dead, Your Majesty. Killed defending your daughter. The attackers were Korvath marauders. And who stopped them? Elias meets her gaze, calm and unblinking. I did. The Empress studies him for a long time, her eyes sharp and cold. One human did this? Elias doesn't answer. He doesn't have to. The silence says it all. When the connection cuts, the Empress will never admit it aloud, but I see it, that flicker of calculation behind her eyes. The realization that this fragile species she pitied may hold the power to shake empires. If you're enjoying this story, if you believe humanity deserves more tales where they stand tall among the stars, then do us a favor. Subscribe for more stories that prove we are not to be underestimated. Later, when the fires are out and the medics have gone, I find Elias in the observation deck. He's cleaning the small green plant he saved during the attack, brushing soot from its leaves. You could have let the guards handle it, I say softly. You could have run. He smiles faintly. That same quiet smile that never reaches his eyes. On my world, running never helped. You fight or you die. That's the rule. I step closer, studying him. The thin scars on his hands, the steady calm of someone who's seen too much. I used to think humans were fragile, I whisper. Now I think you're something else. He looks out at the stars, billions of them, burning in silence. Fragile things don't survive on a death world, he says quietly. We learned to bend, not break. To fight, not flee. We learned to endure. And then, almost absently, he reaches for my hand. His touch is warm, grounding, human. In that moment, I understand. The treaty, the marriage, all of it. It wasn't my mother who won this alliance. It was him. Because no matter how alien the galaxy is, humanity adapts. They survive. And when they choose to stand beside you, not even gods can stand against them. I look at him, this man of flesh and scars, this storm in human form. And I realize the truth that will echo across the stars for centuries. The humans didn't come to conquer. They came to end the age of fear. And they began with a vow. The Deathworlder's vow, complete. Subscribe for more cinematic tales where humanity reminds the galaxy what it means to survive.